In this video, I'm going to show you how to make not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 variations of feathered sunglasses. Let's have a look. Hey, my name's Lars. In this channel, I'm going to show you how to make some awesome, unique costume pieces. I'm not a fashion designer, so I don't have very advanced technical skills. In fact, a lot of the projects that I make are quite easy, so it requires quite a low skill set. I'm also going to share all my tips and shortcuts along the way to make things as easy as possible for you. Most of the materials that I get are from eBay, which makes things a lot more affordable than you would think. But check out the description below for any additional information and links. Also, if you're new here, consider hitting subscribe to stay up to date with my projects. Now, the inspiration for this video came about because I was thinking about the beautiful Indian headdresses that a lot of people like to wear. However, it is quite disrespectful, of course, to the Native American culture to wear them. So I was trying to come up with something that had a similar bold, bright, and feathery feel, and this is what I came up with. All right, so let's get started. So the equipment we'll need today is we'll need a cutting mat with scissors and craft knife, a permanent pen, a glue gun and some glue sticks. And then for materials, we'll need some sunglasses, and then a bunch of feathers as well. And there's some really nice gradients and they have a really interesting end to them. You'll also need some plastic. I've just used an old folder of mine, but just something that's really thick and durable, but also a bit bendable, and that's gonna be easy enough to cut. And then I've also got, this is a necklace that I found in a charity shop. I've already cut off one piece that I used in another craft project. I'm intending to just use this little chevron shape, cut that off and add that to it at the end. You'll end up finding a lot of really great little treasures at charity shops, so keep your eyes peeled out for those. Let's get started. I'm gonna use these golden ones with the blue feathers because I feel like they have a really nice contrast, and the idea is that they will go around like this. Before we get started with the feathers, we're going to cut out a bit of plastic in the same shape as the lens to stick the feathers to, and then we're going to stick that to the back of the glasses. First, we're just going to roughly cut out a rough shape that'll cover the glasses. Then we're going to trace the lens shape as best you can with your permanent marker. I've got a fine permanent marker here. Just give me a nice clean black line. And I'm also going to include a little bridge section between the two glasses, which we're going to cut off later on, but you just want it there for the positioning of the feathers. Okay, so I've drawn the shape of the glasses. Now I'm going to cut that out with the scissors. Okay, so now that we have that cut out, I'm just going to place this over the back of the glasses just to make sure they fit. You might find that little pieces that sit on the edge of your nose that you need to cut it back a little bit more. And this is just a bit of trial and error. You're just going to keep trimming it until it fits over. So it fits. Now you might see that it's sticking out over the edges. Depending on how you're sticking the feathers to it, you might need to trim the edges of the plastic over here. So that fits fine for now. And then I'm just going to draw another line on the inside of that, just offset by about between 5mm and a centimeter, so probably about that much. And you're gonna do that on both sides. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out the center of this. So the bigger border that you leave, the easier it'll be to stick feathers to, but then you'll also have less visibility. If you have larger glasses, like these ones for example, you could probably afford to use a thicker rim, but for smaller ones like this one, you probably have to use a thinner one. I'm gonna cut these out with a craft knife. There's one. What I forgot to do, just write on back so I know which way is up. So now I have a little plastic rim that fits over the back of my glasses. And this is what I am going to stick my feathers to, and then I'm going to stick this to the glasses at the end. So this is the fun part. So I bought these feathers on eBay, so they were nice and cheap. I'm gonna sort the feathers out in size and also the quality, just to get rid of any ones that might have broken or just half. And you'll also notice that some of the feathers bend this way and some bend that way. Depends which side of the bird it was on, I suppose. But we want to use one side for the left side and the ones that bend right on the right side of the glasses. I want them to start small down here and then grow larger around the top. We're just going to place them around the little cutout that you've done. We're going to start to make a template of the feathers. I want these feathers to look really nice and full around the glasses, so I'm going to overlap them ever so slightly just so that there's no gaps between them. And then I want them to go a little bit shorter towards the center as well, so they go small, large, small. And then if I grab my jewelry piece, I'm just cutting off these triangle pieces of the necklace that I found in the charity shop. And actually, I'm going to keep the chain as well. I might even use that on it afterwards as well. So at this point, I can just lay the glasses down and just see how it's going to look. I think the bigger one, that'll sit roughly there. I'm actually going to try and repurpose this part of the necklace as well, like so. Now I've got my bits in place. I know which feathers I'm using, so I'm just going to push the other feathers away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just mark on with your pen where you want to start on both sides. Okay, so where you wrote back, you want to flip that over now. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick the feathers on the plastic and they're going to be sandwiched in between so that afterwards we're going to have a nice smooth back and the feathers aren't going to poke you in the face. So the side that you wrote back on, that is going to face the table now. It's like a nice blob of glue on there and just stick the feather in there. Now this isn't one that moves quickly. You really want to wait till that glue dries with the feather on it because otherwise it'll move out of place. So after that we're going to stick another blob on and stick the next feather in there like that. You have to be careful with the glue here because if you get all the little fluffy bits of the feather in the glue, it'll clump up and it'll ruin the feather and you have to take it out and find another one to replace it. And once the glue dries, you can still position it around a bit. Make sure that it is fanning out evenly all the way around. So you're going to keep doing the same all the way around and glue the feathers until you get to the end. I've done one side. I'm just going to check how that looks once this will be placed on, and you'll have to be careful to see where the arm pokes through without damaging any feathers. It'll fall in between one of the feathers. Figure out which one it does slide between. So there we are. It's looking like that at the moment. That's looking pretty cool. I'm just going to mark on there on the back where the arm fits through. Okay, so I've done one side. I'm going to do the other one. I'm not going all the way around on both sides. Just going to check how that looks on the glasses. I've already marked on this side where the arm comes through. Careful not to damage the feathers there. Thickly mark there where the arms poke through the feathers. So what we can do now is separate these two pieces. Just cut off the bridge that was holding them together. Be really careful not to cut into the feathers, of course. And that should fit very nicely over the lens like so. Just check again that none of the plastic is sticking out the sides of the glasses there. And it's not, so that's great. You can check the other one. That's also fine. Now we need to glue these pieces to the inside of the lens. I'm gonna have to move quickly here because we're gonna use a long line of glue that's gonna go all the way around the lines of the feathers. Know which side your feathers are gonna go in, and then do a couple of squeezes of the glue gun, and we're gonna go in and stick it to the inside. So there is the first one, and once that's on, you can actually cut off the bit that we didn't stick any feathers to so that it ends up looking like that on the inside and like that from the outside. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the second one. Thick line of glue. Remove any stringy bits before it dries completely, and then cut off the excess plastic. And that is on nice and firm. Great, so that's how that's looking at the moment. So I'm going to add this angled piece in the middle. I'm just going to glue it on the bridge of the glasses here. I'm going to mark on with my pen where that is. And then I'm going to do this from the back. So I'm going to draw a line of glue across the back. And that has stuck really quickly and really well. Now for the final bit, I want to add in my chain across the edges of the glasses here. I'm just going to use these little metal rings that I twisted off the necklace to begin with. And I bent them back into shape, trying to get right into the corner of the glasses. I'm going to reattach the chain to the corner here. So I'm going to place in the chain. I'm going to place this around the corner, and then I'm just going to squeeze it closed with the pliers. Okay, so that is now closed and reattached. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, taking care not to twist the chain as I do so. And you want to be careful how you put your glasses down now, because the feathers on whichever side you place them down will get damaged. So this isn't great for the lenses, but unfortunately you're going to have to place them very carefully down on the front like that. Okay, so that is on. I'm just going to squeeze that shut again. And hopefully that's not going to come undone. Look at that. For the second feathered sunglasses, I'm going to use these miniature peacock feathers, which grade from a light to dark grey at the base and have this beautiful iridescent blue-green tips. And when they're layered up next to each other, they become quite bright. Making the feathered part of the sunglasses is exactly the same as the first one, so I'll skip through this bit. Now that I've finished with the feathers, which are looking really nice and full, I found that the curve of the feathers actually give the glasses a whole different shape. So this chain is something that I found in a fabric and jewellery store for a few dollars. I'm going to cut these little ends off, and then I'm going to slide the chain over the arms of the sunglasses. And then I'm going to fix it with hot glue right here in the corner. But take care to leave a little room for the arms to move back and forth. And then the same on the other side. If you do spill a little glue, just go in carefully with a craft knife to clean it up. So this is what it looks like from the back. And then this is what it looks like from the front. For these next sunglasses, I'm using coloured goose feathers. They're much longer and have a hard stem, which I quite like, so I'm going to feature this as part of the design. I bought these on eBay and they're available in a huge range of colours. I've already cut the plastic frame that will fit over the back of the sunglasses, and here I'm sorting out which feathers I want to use, and then laying them out before I stick them on. I want the feathers to go from dark at the bottom to light at the centre, and I also want them to grow from small on the underside to large at the sides and then small at the top centre again. And with the previous sunglasses, the feathers were overlapping quite a lot, which can be quite forgiving for the feathers. However, here each feather is very much on show, so selecting which feathers to use can take a bit more time for these sunglasses. I'm spacing the feathers further apart so that there's a bit of a gap between each one. And then when you get to gluing the sunglasses, make sure that you give them a good hard press to ensure that they're firmly attached. You have to be a bit more patient when gluing these longer feathers, as they can shift quite easily before the glue is 100% dry. So just take a bit of extra time here to make sure that they dry in the position that you want them. Then we can finish them as we did before. So this is the glasses from the back, and this is them from the front.
For the last sunglasses, I wanted to use black and white feathers, but the only ones that I could find were these ones that were quite fluffy at the base. So what I did was simply tear off the fluffy strands until I had about an inch of the stem showing. Make sure you do this over a box or a bag so that the fluffs don't go everywhere. Then I took some nice sharp fabric scissors and simply cut the feathers into a thinner shape that I wanted. I found it easier to start at the top of the feather and cut towards the base. And this is what they looked like after. I noticed that after ripping out some of the feathers from the stem that I had accidentally ripped off some of the black pigment, so I went over these patches with a black permanent marker. Arranging and assembling the feathers is exactly the same as before, but for this one I spray painted the tips of the feathers gold. After gluing the feathers together, you can make a template for the spray painting. Get an A3 piece of card and lay the feathers gently on top. Then get a pen and mark in between the feathers, making sure that the distance between your pen mark and the tip of the feather is more or less the same all the way around. Then join the lines together and cut out your shape. You'll want to use some fairly thick card so that you can handle it pretty easily and also so that it won't get soggy from the spray paint. So I'm in a well ventilated area and I've covered the ground in newspaper. I'm placing the feathers on the ground and then pressing the card cutout shape on top fairly firmly. Then go around and spray paint the tips. You'll want to apply quite a thick coat to get the intensity of the gold, but make sure you keep moving the can from left to right so that you're applying even coats. You don't want the paint to build up and drip on your feathers. Then when you're lifting the card off, be careful not to smudge the wet paint. Make sure you wear gloves or else you'll end up with gold fingers like mine. So these have dried now, and the masking is actually a little bit sharper on the right side than the left, and I think that's because I probably didn't press down firmly enough on that side when I was spray painting. Now you can finish the sunglasses the same as before.
So that's all from me from this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I've definitely enjoyed making these and I cannot wait to wear them. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below, or find me on social media, or if you end up making any of my projects, please tag me in them. I would love to see what you get up to as well. To check out another one of my videos, click here, or to subscribe to my channel and stay up to date with my projects, click here. All right, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.